still. The weapon is peace, the word is...
Hello there, folks, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. First of all, let's talk about the toys behind me, which you can see have been rearranged now after our little calamity last night. I know you could say, well, at least you can put it down as a learning experience, but come on, folks, we all know I haven't learned a thing. So let's see how long we can last until it happens again. Only time will tell. But guys, that's not why we're here today. We are here to announce the winners of the 2021 Displaying Model Behaviour Awards. And we have got some very interesting categories here, with the main one being the Marvel Legend of the Year. And this was voted on by you guys, by the viewers of Displaying Model Behaviour, and also the frequenters of the Facebook group Marvel Legends UK. I got my buddy Jamie to put up a poll and collaborate and correlate and do all those things with the results. He assigns numerical values and actually put in a lot of work to figuring out which the ultimate winner was. So Jamie, thank you so much for doing the hard analytical work that you know I'm just never going to put into this channel. No, it's too much effort, especially when other smarter people can do it for me. I mean, that's a result. So Jamie, thank you so much for doing that, brother. I really appreciate it. So guys, the first award we're going to give out is the worst action figure of 2021. Now, most of these will predominantly be Marvel Legends, not because Marvel Legends are predominantly bad, but actually because they're so popular that that's the main go-to for most people. But we do have a few other things listed here as well, so let's start the countdown. First off, we have the Vault Guardsman, one that was on my own worst list because it's just a lazy repaint with a weird-looking head that's just kind of a reuse of the eel, apparently. I didn't realize that, but yeah, it's the eel head with like some like Y-front-looking armor on top of it. Not a good design. The stuff that should be raised, like the boots and the gloves, are just painted on. Very disappointing. Not a good figure. Then we've got Civil Warrior, which is funny because Civil Warrior is actually, like, mechanically, I think, a really good figure. But he's from Marvel Strike Force. Who's clamoring to build their own Marvel Strike Force collection? Not a huge amount of people, maybe. I know there's someone out there. Alright, I grant you, there's probably someone out there who's desperate for a Strike Force display. I myself, though, it's already enough to have comic books, Gameverse, and MCU, so don't go throwing other lines at us, and that includes Civil Warrior. Marvel Girl from the House of X-Wave. People wanted a Marvel Girl figure, and then they got this with weird stumpy proportions, impossible to stand legs, and a face that looked about as impressed as everyone else when they saw the figure. Just meh. Yeah, very disappointing. Then we have my nemesis, Retro Spider-Man 2099. Ugh! This is what happens when you go to the well once too often. You keep reusing the same buck over and over and over and over again until it just wears out and snaps and breaks the second you take it out of the box. Yep, I'm just applying that logic to every Spider-Man 2099 ever made. Whether or not that's the case, I don't care. So it happened to me, and that's good enough. The Hood. The character whose main gimmick is that he has a hood. What did they not get right on him? The hood. It doesn't fit him. Then he has ridiculous bullets that he fires out of his magic guns and the most bonkers, I don't want to say ridiculous again, the most bonkers face sculpt. Yeah, the Hood is, he's not good. Animated Hobgoblin. So many people wanted another Hobgoblin. They missed out on the original, which is still so good. Then finally we get a Hobgoblin and it's not what people wanted. Here you go, a non-Marvel Legend figure. We have the Bane Build-A-Figure. Now, I'm not sure if this was actually 2021 or 2020, but I'm going to include it this year because, hey, I want to mix it up a little bit. Otherwise, I'm just ragging on Marvel Legends. And as we know, bloody love Marvel Legends. So the Bane Build-A-Figure got a lot of hate from the people when I was mentioning it, because apparently he just doesn't fit together. That's a big flaw. He's not very well articulated when he is together, but then you sort of just blow on him and he all falls apart. Throw on a kind of a black and white grayscale kind of color scheme, which isn't very inspiring and sort of weird fat powerlifter type proportions, and it's just not the Bane that I think people wanted. AI Iron Man. Now look, a lot of people love this figure, so I'm not going to rag on him because they love the bright yellow and red. It's very classic comic book. I dig that. But then again, it also feels like a bit of a sneaky little tactic because people bought that because they didn't get the 80th anniversary Iron Man. And then once everyone bought that, then Hasbro went, oh, would you look at that? It's the 20th anniversary. Better re-release this figure again with an actual human head. Sneaky little devils. Sprite from the Eternals wave. I put the entire Eternals wave as my worst figure of the year, but specifically the one that got the most kind of bad press from people was Sprite. And honestly, yeah, I can't defend it. It does look a bit odd. Theta Sentinel, what a dubious builder figure, mainly because I tried to do my research on the character and she appears in like 2 panels. I say she, he, it, whatever. Nonetheless, the Theta Sentinel, like, no one was clamoring for it, and then we got it, and it was like, okay, does it stand? Not really. Not got much going for you. Professor X, again from the House of X-Wave. Bit of a snake bit one, that. And I gotta say, Professor X, like, he's actually not a bad representation of the character. In fact, it's probably one of the only instances where just a plain painted body actually works, because that's what Professor X is wearing over in Krakoa. Whatever floats your boat, I suppose. But because it is so plain and basic, it's just not a very interesting figure, so I can understand why not a lot of folks liked him. And the worst figure of the year was AOA Cyclops, probably because of the disappointment, because a lot of people were really hoping for a cool, badass Cyclops figure, because the Age of Apocalypse is one of the few realities where Cyclops is kind of a badass. He's kind of lawful evil if you're going by Dungeons and Dragons type terminology, and then of course at the end he's lawful good, but still, it's Cyclops looking cool and rugged with the stubble and the hair and the one eye, and they just made him look like a dork with bad articulation, missing details, and just, yeah, a real flat figure. So according to these awards, the worst Marvel Legend of the year is AOA Cyclops. Now we move on to something much more upbeat. It is the Wave of the Year. Yes, this is more like it. This is the good stuff I like to talk about. So coming in, first of all, we have the Age of Apocalypse Wave. And man, this was quite possibly my Wave of the Year. Absolutely loved this. All killer, but then with one filler. Cyclops does bring the wave down, which is a shame because everyone else on there absolutely killed it. Now this next one is hard to count as a wave, but I'll give it an honourable mention, and that is the Infinity Saga line. It's more of a line than a wave because there's so much in there. I mean, that would win hands down if you counted it as just one wave, but it's not really. But it is a subset, so I'll give it a shout out for some awesome figures in there, especially with the ranges of sizes. You had Ironmonger, you had Surtur, like really cool stuff, and a lot of figures that people were desperate to get their hands on, like Happy Hogan and Quicksilver. So on the whole, I think that entire wave line, whatever you want to call it, made a lot of collectors happy. The What If Wave, and I will include the Hydra Stomper with this one because, hey, why not? I'm going to be generous. There were a couple of duds, but there were a couple of great ones as well. Captain Carter, Zombie Captain America, the Hydra Stomper, of course. This wave was really kind of unexpected because we didn't know what If was going to look like coming into 2021. Yeah, I'm just trying to do my remember where we are in the calendar now. So yeah, there are a lot of great figures on here that I think really won people over to this new sort of animated style. They did a good job there. Now, this has got to be a real Marmite wave, but it got a lot of votes, which was the Shang-Chi wave, the Mr. Hyde wave. Because, I mean, for myself, I was not the least bit interested in the Shang-Chi MCU action figures. But I think a lot of people did appreciate that the actual crafting and sculpting of those costumes, of the face designs, they are high quality, so if you're an MCU person, you can really appreciate what's gone into them. As a comic book fan, I didn't really have much for this line at all. It was just the Mr. Hyde bath, because the AI Iron Man, nah, I didn't need that. I had the 80th anniversary one, so that didn't get any points. And then Silver Warrior, another line to collect? Absolutely not. So for me, not so great, but for a lot of people, they kind of dug it. But the winner of the best wave of 2021 easily in a landslide goes to the villains wave. Oh my goodness, how richly deserved is this? So many great figures, new sculpts, pinless tech. It had the Red Skull in it. It was a fantastic wave with so many awesome characters. Ultron, oh my goodness. Dormammu, you got the Zenmu Bath, which I think maybe brings it down a little bit, only because Zenmu is such an unusual character. I think a lot of people saw the announcement of Zenmu and they were like, oh, okay. So I think that maybe that could have been a better bath, but then the rest of the line, just with Lady Deathstrike as well, you could argue that maybe God Doom wasn't that exciting, but then again, the not Sorcerer Supreme, Hydra Supreme guy, I was least interested in him, and then I got him in hand and I was like, this dude is really kind of fun actually. So on the whole, double thumbs up to the villains wave. Here's hoping we get a second wave in 2022. Now, this is a category I always really enjoy every year, and sadly, we're never short of nominees. This is the cheapest marketing tactic of 2021. To what depths did our manufacturers stoop to get their hands on our money? Boy, they were getting creative. First of all, a classic gripe, McFarlane DC releasing two different figures of the same character, one with a mask and one without. Oh my goodness. Marvel Legends, God bless you. Because you pretty much give us like the basic character, they're either masked or they're not. Or, if you're feeling very generous, you will give us the different head. Whereas McFarlane are like, nah. We can sell this entire figure twice. No, you want to see the character in their normal sort of guise without the mask on? Well, guess what? You're going to have to pony up the dough, pal. And it seems like that practice is probably going to continue into 2022. So guys, you got to vote with your wallets. Decide which version of the character you want, buy that one, and let the rest just warm those pegs. Now we've got the exclusive carded animated Venom. Oh my goodness, what a doozy this one was. On its own, not a terrible figure at all. I mean, yes, he's got those big holes in his shoulders, but you can kind of look past that if Hasbro were not charging an ultra premium price, nearly double the price of a regular Marvel Legend. And this is on a body, on a buck, that has actually been at regular retail. You can buy for like $20 in a normal wave. Yet for some reason, this buck, only with a new head and forearms and a paint job, is suddenly double the price? What, because it comes in a cardboard box? Is cardboard that expensive now? I know plastic is going up, but we got to pay an extra $15 for a cardboard box that me personally, I'm going to throw away? No, not today, pal. Not today. Now we got a good one. Having to buy a 3-pack just to give Cannonball some legs. Now this is kind of funny because I actually appreciate that, look, Hasbro obviously listened to their audience and they said, okay, you want Cannonball with legs, we get it. Well, alright, well maybe you don't want to spend an extra $20 on him, so we'll put him in this 3-pack. But still, you're forking over money for him and it still leaves a bit of a bad taste in your mouth. Coupled with the fact that the Domino figure kind of left a bit to be desired in the face department. And then Richter, he was fine, but ultimately it wasn't a great 3-pack. And the fact that one of the characters was kind of a make good from Hasbro, yeah, it didn't feel like you were getting your money's worth. A big one that makes my heart go out to my American brothers and sisters is store exclusives. Now, when you see things announced as a Target exclusive, a GameStop or Walmart exclusive, I feel for you, man, because you should be able to, in a perfect world, just walk into any store and buy the figure you want, or even just go online and order the figure. But no, you gotta go chasing and hunting around all these different locations, hoping, getting those SKU numbers or whatever it is to try and look up and see if they have the stock. All the while, some psychic scalper somehow magically knows where they all are and goes and scoops them all off the shelf and chucks them on eBay for like 10 times the normal price. Yeah, that's not what action figure collecting should be about. Retro Spider-Man 2099 and generally kind of the retro idea. Because look, I get that it's good to re-release figures that people might have missed. I understand that. But when you are charging full price for a figure for a buck that came out 4, 5, 6 years ago, you've not done anything to change it? You just put it back out there and you're charging the same price as a brand new figure? The fact that the Spider-Man 2099 cost the same as, for example, Sabretooth? I don't know why I'm doing that because he's not behind me anymore. I changed my display. But yeah, the fact that like this cheap piece of crap that fell apart in my hands cost the same as a brand new, fully tooled up, brand spanking 2021 hot off the press figure? No, that's not cool. Something that gave me a very popular video last year was the Wolverine 5-pack. You know, the biggest problem, it was hard for me to actually pinpoint what my biggest problem with this pack was. Mainly for me, it was the fact that if you got the Hellfire Club box set, you spent about $100 to get the Hellfire Club, but you were clearly missing one figure, and you probably spent an extra $40 or $60 buying a few of the Guardsmen as well, the Hellfire Goons. So you spent a lot of money on your Hellfire Club that is missing one specific character. And then what do? Hasbro say, hey, you know what? If you want to complete your Hellfire Club box set, yeah, guess what? You got to buy another box set, you schmuck. You got to spend $120 if you get a good deal on just this one box set to get that one Mastermind figure. Maybe you don't want Wolverine shirtless. Maybe you don't want Omega Red again, or Callisto, or a cheaply redone Cyber. But you know for a fact, now that they've made that Mastermind figure, even if you don't care about Mastermind, you know in the back of your Mastermind that your Hellfire Club is not complete. And that's the annoying thing. They knew that. They knew they could get you to buy a box set. Almost couldn't get my words out of there because my throat was closing up with anger. Boy, that Wolverine box set was, it really makes the blood boil. And yeah, that one, I felt that. So take these broken wings and learn to fly again and learn to live so free. Who sang that? What was this award? Oh yeah, the Falcon Wings. Just go off on tangents. Now I've got that song in my head. The Falcon Build-A-Figure wings. I think people kind of just made it very clear when we got other accessory things like the Vulture Build-A-Figure wings. People don't want to just get like an accessory as a Build-A-Figure piece. And the thing is, if you don't make the Build-A-Figure, then Falcon feels incomplete. And it's just like, wait, so you either buy the entire wave to get the wings to make the one figure feel complete, or you just don't, you have a wingless Falcon? Well, what kind of a Falcon doesn't have wings? I don't know. One that you have to buy like a $120 wave to complete. Nah, I'm not cool with that. But the number one worst marketing tactic has to be the Rancor Tears. You knew it was coming, so, you know, you can't be shocked at this one. At least it's not ragging on Marvel Legends, because it's still Hasbro, but it's the Star Wars Black Series. The first tier of the Rancor was a cardboard background. Guess what the Rancor would have come in? A cardboard box. Guess what they're offering as the first tier? Cardboard. Like, I wonder what shop the makers of the HasLab Rancor go to buy their pants that must be specially fitted to contain their gigantic cojones. Where they were like, yeah, okay, if enough of you buy this, we'll throw in a cardboard background. You know, something you could actually print off for free if you wanted. And then some bones as well, which any doofus with a laser printer could make. And you could probably pick up on eBay for like $2. But we're giving them to you if you all buy in. And guess what? People didn't buy in. I think this is one of those occasions. I don't want to see anyone fail. I get happy when I see people succeed. But I was happy to see this one fail because there was a success in there. It was a success for the Star Wars Black Series fans because you guys voted with your wallets, and God bless you for doing it because you made a real clear message to Hasbro. If you want our money, you gotta give us more bang for our buck. So well done, guys. That was a big victory for the consumer. Cardboard background. Jeez. Now we've got a fun one. It's the Build-A-Figure of the year. See, I'm trying to balance these out. Give you a little vinegar, but then give you a little bit of sugar as well. So the Build-A-Figure of the year, there were some doozies here. And also not just Marvel Legends, which is kind of nice because the first one we're going to talk about is King Shark. Boy, the Suicide Squad movie, that was a surprising gem considering how maligned the original one was. They really had to do something special to make Suicide Squad 2 work and be a success. And they did it. They nailed it. It was a fun movie. A little bit too long for my liking, but still, they kind of nailed it, really. And King Shark was a big part of that. And they did themselves proud. Well done, McFarlane DC. That King Shark Build-A-Figure, big, hefty, chunky, terrifying looking, very cool. The Armadillo, one that has a lot of pros and a few cons as well. Just standing there looks super impressive. So big, so hefty, so chunky. But then that's also the problem. Not much in the way of articulation. You can articulate him, but it'll make his back piece fall off, and you can bend his feet a little bit and stuff, and put him in a walking pose, but he'll fall over because you can't move his ankles properly because of all the extra armor. So a good idea, a good looking visually figure, but not very well engineered. A very popular one was Colossus. I don't know why, that was a terrible Russian accent, but still, Colossus from the AOA range, that sounds really weird. From the AOA wave. There you go, that makes more sense. Yeah, exactly what I like. Big, bright, colourful, chunky, animated looking expression. A load of people voted for Colossus, and rightly so. He was a great Build-A-Figure. A bit of a rank outsider, but one who got quite a few votes was Zemnu. Again, bit of an unusual character, bit of a who type character, which is kind of a shame because it is a good looking Bath. But I feel it kind of brought the villain's wave down a little bit because it wasn't more of an iconic one that people really wanted. Still, enough people thought he was good enough to get a few votes. But the easy winner for Build-A-Figure of the Year has to be Ursa Major. What a fun, bonkers, ridiculous character. And again, I just said that Zemnu was an unusual choice, and Ursa Major is as well, but I guess enough people love the idea of a gigantic bear character that it's enough to win him over as the best Build-A-Figure of the year. The snarling, crazy expression, the body, like they're hairy but muscular, like it's just a really cool design, which hopefully opens the door for other similar characters to use that body. Ursa Major, super fun. I displayed mine with a gigantic minigun that just completely set it off. I think that's probably, easily I'll agree, the best Build-A-Figure of the year. Now we got to take things down. Way down with the biggest letdown of the year. Now this is a little bit similar to the dodgiest marketing tactics kind of thing, so I'll try not to repeat myself because we also got some interesting votes. One that I honestly don't know much about but was mentioned a couple of times was Super 7 April O'Neil. Now, April was a bit of a funny one because I know that the NECA April was a bit disappointing as well. Either the animated one, her head was too big, or the 1990s movie one had weird knees. So April seems to be a little bit snake-bit, and for whatever reasons, and I'm sorry I can't comment because I don't know it personally, it seems like the Super 7 April, she didn't get much love. The Sentinel knees. Yeah, that's a big one, and that could have been a winner as well, actually. For this biggest, most prestige thing that Hasbro have arguably ever done, they go and give it a design flaw like that? Come on, guys, that is not a good look. Either side of me, I'm not sure if this camera's wide enough, but I've got a huge Megatron and Optimus Prime, both of which are about the same size as the Sentinel, both of which have beautiful ratchets in their knees and their arms that mean it can hold any pose, no problem. And guess what? Both of them were a lot cheaper than the Sentinel too. So the fact that Hasbro, like a company like, this is what you do. You make action figures. Like, this is not sort of like, oh, we didn't expect to see that coming. No, this is literally your job. And you don't put in something as basic as a strong ratchet to keep this incredibly heavy figure up? Yeah, that was a letdown. A kind of general one is Masters of the Universe Revelations figures. Now, I suppose if we weren't just doing action figures, people could say Masters of the Universe Revelations in general. But hey, I actually quite enjoyed that. But the action figures, I get it, because I thought the designs in the show were really cool, very toyetic. And then when I saw them on the shelf, I felt like, they don't look that great. Some of the sculpting is good, but maybe like the material, the plastic, they looked very toyish. And I know that's stupid to say when you're talking about toys, but also you know what I mean. Sometimes like a toy can look like a great sort of statue action figure type piece, and other times if you use the wrong plastic or cheaper materials or not a good sculpt, it looks like a kid's toy. And I feel like a lot of the Masters of the Universe Revelations figures, they look like kids' toys. Speaking of feeling too much like a toy or feeling too plasticky, we have the Infinity Saga Endgame Captain America. Quite a few people said that the face looks kind of weird, they didn't quite nail it the way that they were hoping, and also that he feels very kind of plasticky. And again, that's one of those weird nebulous things. It's like, well, what do you mean plasticky? It's a plastic toy, but also, you know what I mean. Coming in the awards again, we have Retro Venom. Won't linger on him too long, but let's just say a lot of people wanted a big, bulky comic book Venom. We finally kind of sort of didn't quite really get one, so of course, people were kind of let down. One that's again also been mentioned is the Rancor. Not gonna wax lyrical, but boy, that could have been a great thing, and instead it was just the big story of kind of hubris of 2021. Hopefully, lessons were learned. Another big letdown is that despite having more than one go at it, Hasbro couldn't seem to get US Agent right. As far as as far as TV Disney Plus show accuracy is concerned, it's like he didn't have his shield or different elements weren't right. I wasn't collecting the MCU figures, and to be honest, I kind of drifted off with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show anyway. So I can't comment too much, but from what I do understand, people wanted a good representation of John Walker, and for whatever reasons, they didn't quite get one. Speaking of Disney Plus, the Watcher Build-A-Figure. Now, from what I understand, it's not so much the Build-A-Figure itself, like that's a fair representation of the Watcher, maybe a little bit smaller than people would like, but it's the fact that that What If show contained so many awesome designs that would have made more interesting, exciting Build-A-Figures. The one I really wanted to see personally was the monstrous Supreme Doctor Strange. You only saw a couple of little glimpses of him. I loved that episode, it was so cool. But when you saw what monstrous, horrible, hideous Doctor Strange looked like, I instantly thought that would be an amazing Build-A-Figure. But no, we got the Watcher. Similarly, Ultron, like Supreme Infinity Ultron. Oh me mia. That would have been an incredible Build-A-Figure, but no, we got the Watcher. And the winner of the biggest letdown of 2021 was the Fantastic Four Retro Wave, which is so kind of ironic because the biggest hope winner of last year was that we would get a Fantastic Four Retro Wave, and we did, and sometimes it's like, man, be careful what you wish for, because it was a lot of reuse and a bit of disappointment and Sue Storm's face. Wow. Or to quote Home Alone, woof. Yeah, so first of all, let's just go through it. I mean, the thing was okay, but it was pretty much the same thing that we've had for a third time now. Walgreen, Super Skrull, the same thing body, the different head, like the toothless, weird smile, that's kind of odd. Yeah, like, it didn't really do much. Then we had Reed Richards. Salad prong fingers again. When you've done the Walgreens one with the stretchy arms, no, not going to give us that. Just the stupid fingers. That's a big letdown. Johnny Storm seemed to escape too much criticism. People generally seem to like Johnny Storm, and then Sue Storm with that face. Oh boy, that face. That alone easily wins the award for letdown of the year. Now we have the fun award of biggest get hype moment. This is a great one. This is where we celebrate the announcements and the events that make us excited to be action figure collectors, and we had a whole bunch of great ones this year. The first one being the announcement of classic Doctor Strange. Finally, I think the winner of last year's How Do We Still Not Have This Figure award. We've got the figure not only announced, kind of stumbled over my words there, but I'm going to keep on going. Not only was he announced, but he looks so good. Dare I say, exactly what we would want in a Doctor Strange figure, with the different heads, all the accessories. I don't mind paying for a deluxe figure if you give us a deluxe figure. And this, my friends, is a deluxe figure with the different heads, all the magic stuff. Doctor Strange announcement, don't have him in hand yet, but we will do soon. Huge get hype moment. We step away from Marvel Legends for a second to talk about the NECA American Werewolf in London. Werewolf. This is a great cult film. I'm a huge big fan of American Werewolf in London. Terrified me as a kid. Still slightly terrifying as an adult, but such an iconic... I mean, that is the ultimate practical effects movie, where you see a dude turn into a werewolf and there's no CGI. That is all just amazing animatronics, makeup, and some balls to the wall editing. And I love that movie. And the actual werewolf design, straight up nightmare fuel. And NECA, nightmare fuel is their business, and they captured it to perfection. So the announcement and ultimate release and happy reviews of that figure, yeah, that was a big get hype moment. 20th anniversary Captain America, and also what that signaled was the fact that we were going to get First of all, a 20th anniversary wave, which is going to be great to get some more iconic characters re-released in new versions that new collectors can get their hands on, and it meant we would be getting our hands finally on a Toad figure as well. So the fact that Captain America, the 20th anniversary edition, looks really good, that alone is a get hype moment. Coupled with the fact that it's ushering in a whole new bunch of awesome action figures, yeah, we can get hyped for that. Let's go over to McFarlane DC now with Swamp Thing. I'm not a big Swamp Thing guy, I'm not a big DC guy, but I can appreciate an awesome looking action figure when I see one. And yeah, when I was looking at Swamp Thing, I was looking at an awesome looking action figure. Huge! Absolutely massive. I didn't know Swamp Thing was meant to be that big. Or can he get bigger, smaller? Is he like amorphous like that? I don't know. But still, he looks wicked. So yeah, a lot of people voted for the announcement of Swamp Thing as a big get hype moment. It's not directly action figure related, but I'll throw it in anyway. The Spider-Man No Way Home movie. Yeah, you can kind of like transcendentally attach it to action figures, but just the movie alone. I mean, I won't let it win because this is an action figure award show, but we just need to shout out. Spider-Man No Way Home was amazing. The animated X-Men set. Oh my goodness, this got a lot of people very, very excited. I think honestly, my generation, the sort of 30 to 45 kind of generation, like yeah, all 45, 50, 60, you're never too old for animated X-Men. When that came out in the early 90s, blew us all away and still kind of set the collecting standard for what people are after. And oh my goodness, going full animated style with the VHS cassette boxes, yeah, that got a lot of people salivating and just getting their wallets ready to fork over the money. We've had the two announced, Wolverine and Jubilee, but you know we're going to see a whole lot more. And yeah, Sinister as well, he was announced. Yeah, this wave is already picking up steam. The announcement of Havoc. So many people wanted a classic Havoc with the rings, the crazy mask, all that kind of stuff. The fact that he was not only announced, but he looks awesome with the crazy circular power effects around him. Yeah, that figure's going to rock. One of the biggest, most popular waves of last year was the retro Spider-Man wave. And oh my goodness, when they announced a second retro wave, we were thrilled. And generally, we were very happy when we saw it too. Bit of killer, bit of filler, but on the whole, a very exciting wave. Come on, they're bringing back my boy Ben Reilly. What's not to love? But the winner of the biggest get hype moment for 2022, of course, has to be HasLab Galactus. Oh my giddy lord, this is the big one. You were wondering what the big thing was gonna be? Yeah, it doesn't get much bigger than a HasLab Galactus. He looks incredible. I plonked down my money instantly. And of course, it took time to build up a bit of steam. But when he finally hit that last day of funding and just smashed all records with some awesome tears, except for the Doomhead, I think everyone was behind this figure as like, they're gonna have to deliver this big time. He can't have no ratchet knee problems, none of this. We are so hyped for this. It looks so good in the pictures, got so many great tears and heralds and all that kind of good stuff. Galactus, easily the winner of the most get hype moment of 2021. Now we have the award for Best Paint Job, and this is a controversial one because the first nominee is Animated Venom, a character that I've been so maligning as far as action figures are concerned, but a lot of people actually really dig that two-tone animated style, and honestly, it does pop off the shelf. I don't like the fact it doesn't really fit with the rest of your comic characters, but just as a standalone piece, yeah, no, even I'll agree, that does look pretty cool. The Shang-Chi movie figures. It's always harder to do photorealistic actual human beings in action figure form, and when you do, you gotta go a little further, a little harder with the paint job to make it look convincing and work and not get that uncanny valley. And I gotta agree with a lot of people when they say the Shang-Chi wave kind of nailed it. Iron Man Mark 85. This was a very popular figure, and the paint job, yeah, it does look really nice. All the shine, the sheen, the chrome, the little intricate details. Yeah, that really pops off the shelf. Zombie Captain America, a super popular figure. And this one, part of that popularity is the paint job, which looks really great. Dark, gruesome, gnarly, gory, really cool. And I can see why so many people love it. The Retro Human Torch. I'm not sure what flavor people were going for, either fully flamed on or the Hasbro Pulse exclusive kind of one. I'm gonna guess fully flamed on because that's certainly very impressive to look at. I still don't have mine in hand yet, so I can only assume, but from what I hear, he's a doozy. the Scarlet Witch from the Disney Plus wave. Yeah, this was actually a pretty beautiful looking figure, I gotta say. Again, not an MCU collector, but I appreciate good quality where it comes in there, and yeah, that was a great realization of Kate Olsen in her awesome Scarlet Witch costume. Yeah, they nailed that. But the winner of Best Paint Job is going to go to the animated NECA Turtles. Yeah, stepping outside the Marvel Legends bubble there. I thought this previous year, NECA did a fantastic job with the painting of their animated turtle characters because they're all so big, bright, and bold, and they nailed that. None of the colors were muted. There were very few paint defects that I ever heard about, which is, good for NECA because we do worry about quality control sometimes. But when they get it right, they get it really right. And dang it, doesn't make any sense. But still, in this case, they got it right. This next award is the I thought it would suck, but actually it was good award, which is always a fun one to do. And the first nominee is Surtur. Surtur was one that, people were like, geez, this is a really oversized figure. Are they going to kind of cheap out and just kind of, try and save money because it's already costing them a lot? No, they actually made him really well. He looks awesome with the huge big sword, the translucenty kind of fire effects. Surtur looked badass. Webman, what a random, bizarre character to choose, but it was an easy repaint, so that kind of explains it. And a lot of people thought, why do we want a Webman? It's not even blue, it's like a weird teal color. And then you see it in the box and it's like, those colors pop beautifully. So even if you don't care about Webman, he's just a pretty looking figure. The Disney Plus Loki figures. I think a lot of people were thinking, well, these are just like people in suits. There's nothing really very exciting about them. I mean, yes, they're characters that feature a lot, so they're important, but not really much as far as action figures are concerned. And then I think folks got them in hand and were like, you know what? These are actually kind of fun. The facial likenesses were excellent. And then even though the suits were kind of muted, those did make good bodies for like kit bashing different scenes and stuff if you're a photographer or doing different things. And just as extra additions to your MCU collection, they kind of made a lot of people happy. Elvis MODOK. Now look, I don't know many people own this figure at all, but I guess that there's a certain bizarre, kitsch, camp, ridiculous kind of feel to it that makes people kind of happy to own it. I mean, I thought it would suck. I mean, you're really only buying that set because you want the captain for your next wave group. But then again, maybe that's not the case because I thought it sucked, but I haven't seen it in hand. And those who have actually told me they really kind of like it. Stiltman, a clever builder figure that you can buy an army builder character to get the extra stilts. Genius! But I think a lot of people thought, it's not really going to work. It's not going to be like effective. Do I want a really tall Stiltman? The answer I think is yes. A lot of people want a tall Stiltman because I've seen some bonkers pictures of various Stiltmen. So I think a builder figure character that people weren't too keen on actually turned out to be something that people kind of loved. But the winner of the I thought it would suck, but turned out great award has to be Frogman. Oh my goodness, the people's champ and the people's choice. I love Frogman. Such a bonkers, ridiculous, wacky character. Can I reach him from here? Nah, I can't reach him. But yeah, he's so goofy, so ridiculous. I think maybe people saw pictures and they were like, it's just like the Doc Ock body with a silly head. But no, actually having him in hand, there's so much love that's gone into that guy. Easy winner for I thought it would suck, but turned out to be great. A little bit of negativity now with the Worst Accessory Award. And boy, we got a few to choose from. First up, Reed Richards' fingers. What a weird thing to even say. But yes, Mr. Fantastic. His whole gimmick is he can stretch his entire body into any shape. So what do they give us? Long fingers. Again, for a second time. Because we all loved them so much the first go round. Smoke effects for Iron Man figures. Yeah, I'm not really hating on this, but it is kind of weird. I did say how these kind of, repulsor blasts, they're not really smoky. I don't really get where the smoke comes from, but still, enough people voted on them to say that, yeah, it's a bit of a strange choice. Death Dealer's Daggers. I can't even comment. I don't even know. I just wanted to say Death Dealer's Daggers. It was kind of fun. I had the figure, but I instantly sold it. But I think for some reason people don't like the daggers. But Dave does like the daggers. Dave does like Death Dealer's Daggers. So damn it, I'm going to include it anyway. Red Wing from the Falcon with his Build-A-Figure wings and whatnot. Apparently Red Wing just falls off all the time. You can't get him to stay on. Just a light breeze, and off he goes. So yeah, Red Wing. The Hood's Hood. Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? The one thing about the character, he has a hood. What was the one thing you screwed up? The hood. Boy, null point, guys. Null point. The hood's magic bullets. Yeah, I don't even need to describe these. Just see for yourself. But the winner of Worst Accessory is McFarlane DC's Peacemaker with no guns. I think that's a general one for all McFarlane figures that should have guns and don't. I know it's an edict from on high from DC, Warner Brothers, whatever, but still, when you got a character whose gimmick is shooting people and you make an action figure without guns, yeah, you kind of screwed the pooch with that one. Now we have the WTF award. What product or announcement or event made you go, WTF? And first up we have Power Rangers Lightning Ninja Collection for $30 a piece? Are you kidding me? That's something I don't even collect Power Rangers, but when I saw what they were asking for what they were giving, I was like, no, this is a dangerous precedent. We don't want to pay this because that ain't worth it. Speaking of not wanting to pay for things, the 20th anniversary Hulk figure is $40. Even in pounds, in UK pounds, that's more like $50. No, get out, shut the front door, you're not welcome here. The fact that also it's a weird looking head sculpt with like the Pickle Rick lips and stuff, like, no, you gotta do more than that to justify a price point there. My heart went out to the people who asked for this one. The Batman Who Laughs 4-pack with him and the 3 Robins being announced right after everyone else has tried their best and paid all their money to try and acquire all of those Robins and the character himself separately. I know that's kind of a very specific one, but there were a lot of people who were in that boat. They missed out on the 3 different Chase Robins and then they paid crazy money to get hold of them, and then McFarlane's like, here you go. Which is kind of like, it's a good thing. It's good to re-release figures, but boy, it must have stung for the people who forked out the money originally. Again, this has been another big year for big prices, and the Hydra Stomper being $60. Again, it's a dangerous precedent to set. I'm still hoping he's going to go down in price, because I would love to have that figure, but not for that price. And he is trickling down, but he's still got to go down a bit further, because $60 was way too much. And it's a shame, because that was a good figure. The Zenmu Builder figure, just because it's Zenmu. Who asked for that? That's such a cliche, isn't it? Who asked for this? Speaking of who asked for this, shirtless Wolverine. Okay, yes, you can put him in that X pose on the cross, but besides that, really, was anyone clamoring for a shirtless Wolverine? I don't think so. Maybe, but I'm talking for everyone. It's my channel. But the winner of the WTF award, he's been nominated so many times, he deserves to go home with a no prize statue. The Hood, having a hood that does not fit for a character called the Hood. You had one job, Hasbro, and you messed it up. Therefore, the Hood gets the WTF award of 2021. Now, before we count down the Marvel Legends of the Year, we have a very optimistic award. It is the biggest hope of 2022. So let's do it. More retro Spider-Man figures, specifically deluxe figures. Mainly people want Rhino and people want the Lizard. These two guys are super expensive on the second-hand market and the retro wave is going gangbusters, so come on Hasbro, give the people what they want. Another wave we want to see is Villains Wave 2. The first one was so good, we only want more. We've had Baron Zemo previewed and he's in that Villains packaging. Is he going to be a one-off or is he part of another wave? Here's hoping, because I would love that too. Especially if it comes with a comic book Abomination Builder figure. Yes please, take my money. One for the Star Wars fans, Savage Opress? Is that her name? Either way, she got a couple of votes. I can kind of picture what the character looks like. I'm going to wiki her so that I actually get the name right. My spell check fixed it to Savage Press, so I know that's not right. Savage Opress? Something like that. Either way, she's a badass looking character. Maybe we'll see her this year. One that might be unlikely, but you never know, is 616 Mandarin. I know that the Mandarin is kind of like, from a cultural sensitivity kind of standpoint, probably has a bit of a few black marks against him, and that might be why we don't see him. But still, he is an iconic Iron Man character, so maybe if Hasbro tread real carefully, they might be able to get him out. But I doubt it. McFarlane, Yennefer, and Vengerberg. Is it Vengerberg? Yes, it's Vengerberg, unless I misspelt it, from The Witcher 3. Witcher, still, we got a second season on Netflix. That's going really well. The property is kind of hot right now, and people want more action figures. So even though I don't really know those specific characters, I generally just hope that the people who like Witcher get a whole bunch of awesome Witcher figures. A real crowd pleaser from Disney Plus this year was the Hawkeye show, and people are asking for more Hawkeye figures. We're getting the two leads, but there are other characters. I would love to see some of the Tracksuit Mafia represented. That would be good fun. But also I think a lot of people want Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin as a Build-A-Figure or as a deluxe figure. Or, I mean, it doesn't have to be deluxe. It's not like he's gigantic. But still, representation of the Hawkeye show, yeah, that would make a lot of people very happy. An original New Mutants box set. That got a few votes as well. New Mutants are kind of hot right now. The movie. The movie may not have made much of an impact, but still, a lot of the hardcore collectors, especially folks who grew up reading the comics in the 80s, they want more of those New Mutants. Again, going back to Star Wars, we had a vote for the Ewok Village. That could be a cool little HasLab project. So, okay, the Rancor didn't work out, but what about an Ewok Village? I mean, I'm all for playsets and dioramas. I love being able to make interesting looking displays with like little diorama display pieces. So if they did a full-blown Ewok Village, that is something that could get people excited. But the easy winner, and I mean by a landslide, for biggest hope of 2022 is a No Way Home Wave 2 with all the characters that we desperately want to see. We couldn't get in the first wave because they didn't want to give anything away, and I respect that. But dang it, you made us buy a lot of rubbish figures in that first wave, so now you gotta make good. You gotta give us the Green Goblin, Sandman, Electro, Lizard, Dr. Octopus, and even more importantly, you gotta give us Toby and Andrew, ideally even in a triple pack box set, all three Spider-Men. The possibilities are endless, and for Hasbro, it's a chance to just print money, because even I would buy those. If I could get like an MCU Sinister Six, throw in the Deluxe Vulture as well, yeah, absolutely guaranteed I'll go for that. And now it's time to count down the top 23 Marvel Legends of the year. This is in numerical order, calculated and tabulated by the number of votes. Here we go. First up, we have the big bad Zemnu. Now the answer to many people's requests, we finally got our hands on an MCU Quicksilver. Peter B. Parker from the Stiltman wave brought an incredible animated style to Marvel Legends. The Maestro, while disappointing for some, made a lot of people very happy. Big chunky Hulk body with the great withered head and the option to do your own decorating. What's not to like? At 19, we had the huge, big, bulky Hydra Stomper. A big price tag, but my goodness, you got a lot of action figure for your buck. Endgame Thanos from the Infinity Saga wave. We got a lot of Thanoses in our potential collections, but this is one that a lot of people wanted to get their hands on. Ultron from the Ursa Major wave. Amazing what a little bit of Kirby Crackle can do. That figure just pops off the shelf. Thor from the Infinity Saga. Loads of people wanted Bro Thor as he's known, and they did a fantastic job of capturing him with the plaits and the hair, the huge big beard and the little belly right there. Such a fun figure. The Colossus Bath from the Age of Apocalypse wave. So shiny, so much cool metallic paintwork going on there. Awesome Build-A-Figure. We go over to the MCU with Doctor Strange from the Armadillo wave. So much nice detail going on there. Really captured the likeness of Benedict Cumberbatch, and then everything else that was going on there with the figure, the engineering, the coat, the design. Really, really nice piece. The mechanized organism designed only for killing, MODOK. I love how bonkersly wonderful and awesome this figure is. Such a centerpiece on the display. Absolutely wicked. And now the top 10, we have Lady Deathstrike from the Zenmu wave. And she, first of all, just as a standalone figure, looks great. But now we're getting all the Reavers to pair up with her. Oh, she is a wonderful, wonderful, again, just like MODOK, a centerpiece that you can build an army around. So cool. We have one of my favorite figures, Captain Carter from the What If wave. A beautiful combination of animated, sort of comic book style put together with the great Peggy Carter face sculpt. Almost forgot the name of the character there. But what a wonderful figure. Pair her up with the Hydra Stomper and they look amazing. Modular Iron Man. So many people wanted this figure and generally it did not disappoint. Some wonderful 90s styling going on there. The bright blue repulsor blasts and just the awesome sculpt for the armor. Really great figure. Iron Man Mark 85, an iconic Iron Man costume from the movies with a glorious paint job, so metallic and bright with lovely little details. Really cool version of Iron Man. PlayStation Gamerverse Miles Morales. When you have a checklist of what you want with an action figure, unique sculpt, great articulation, different heads, different hands, power effects, yep, this figure has it all. Really great. The Scarlet Witch from the MCU Disney Plus wave. Again, when you're trying to capture a realistic looking person, it can be so tough to get those finer points right, but they did it. A fantastic job on the Scarlet Witch. Beautiful articulation, sculpt, paintwork, all goes together to make a fantastic Marvel legend. One of my favorites, the Red Skull from the Zenmu wave. So many cool things going on here. A new pinless body, different heads, all the accessories with the cosmic cube and everything that you can combine. Like I was saying with Miles from the Gamerverse, you got your checklist for what makes a cool, worthwhile, good value for money action figure. Yeah, Red Skull meets all of those. We have Surtur, which is great that he was on the nominees of Thought It Would Suck, but actually turned out to be great. Turned out to be really great. Gigantic figure, amazing flame kind of paint job and translucent plastic, all those great elements made for a super popular figure. In the number 2 position, we have Zombie Captain America, a figure that I don't own, but all I've been hearing from all the kids is how great this figure is. So Zombie Captain America with the completely unique design and sculpt with great gruesome looking paintwork. Even though I don't have him, I can appreciate a lot went into that figure and it made him very popular. And the number 1 best Marvel legend of 2021, of course, has to go to the HasLab Sentinel. I know that a lot of people can say, can you really include this on the list? Well, guess what? Yeah, we did. This guy, he was a landmark in Marvel Legends. He's a game changer. Now we live in a post-Sentinel world where we've got Galactus coming and who knows what else. Did he have dodgy knees? Maybe, but still, even that doesn't take away from the fact that I'm looking at mine right now. He just looks amazing. You can base an entire display around that figure. So wonderful with the light up effects, all the articulation right down to the fingers. Absolutely phenomenal and an easy winner for Best Marvel Legend of 2021. And folks, that does it for the Model Behaviour Award Show 2021. I hope you enjoyed that. It was epic. That was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but hey, you know me. When I get going, it's hard to slow down. That was so much fun. Thank you everyone who took part in the voting and giving your suggestions and nominations. It's hugely appreciated, and I love the fact that this channel is built not just by me, but by you guys as well, with all of your contributions, comments, and everything you throw my way. That's awesome. I can't wait to have more of this going into 2022, because guys, this is going to be a big year for the channel. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. We're going to break through. And when I do, I'm going to remember all you guys. You were the OGs who were there. And you could say, I used to watch Model Behaviour before it was a global phenomenon. And Dave was like presenting the Marvel showcases at San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, I'm going big this year. It's going to happen. So folks, thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel a little bit further, you can do either by going over to teespring.com and buying yourself a badass Model Behaviour t-shirt, or you can go over to patreon.com/displaying model behavior, just like these saviors of Model Behaviour did. And my resolution for 2022 is to update that site way more often, make it more of a go-to type place. And also, I'm going to be doing YouTube channel memberships. That's something that YouTube do, and again, it's a way to get some extra content and give back to the channel if you want to. And I'm gonna put the same, I think, I'm still working out how it works, but I'm gonna put the same content on Patreon as is on the YouTube members thing. So, you know, whatever one you want to join, you'll get the same stuff, because some people don't like signing up to one thing or another. I completely appreciate. I don't really know how it works. I'm still figuring it out myself. But still, that's something to look forward to. But yeah, what you don't need to do is join both. I don't think. We're gonna work this out. Either way, I'm gonna try and give you some bang for your buck if you're helping out the channel. I appreciate it. All right, guys, enough rambling. Thank you so much. I hope you had a wonderful holiday period, and I hope you all have an amazing 2022. I'm excited to share it with you. So until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cheers.